Donnie opened the closet and took out his collection of stuffed toys to play with them. One of them was a baby shark that, whenever its belly was touched, started singing doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, but it was a little broken so you could never turn it off. So it sang on a continuous loop till the point where it could drive some to madness. So his previous owner went mad and committed suicide, and his spirit took possession of the puppet with the intention to find someone, anyone, that could put a stop to it. And then they found Lord Takeda Shingen. "What the hell?" he said, standing in front of the boring toy. He proceeded to light it on fire. Ah, much better. Then Zac Efron appeared and started to sing a ballad. "Who the hell is that brat now?" he wondered, annoyed by the unpleasant voice of the boy, who was singing off-key because he didn't know the song. The daimyo put his hand on his katana, ready to draw it, when an albatross swooped down towards them. The albatross was actually a girl with big boobs, singing the song "I'm an Albatross." She had been singing so much she turned into one. The girl was Jessica Alba. The albatross was eaten by a sea monster named Ted, who was a giant teddy bear who loved warm hugs, but no one liked to hug him because he smelled of fish. This made Ted the sea monster incredibly sad, so he went to the sea store to see if he could find something to make him smell better. He found some perfume, but it was hella expensive, and he could pay only with songs, but he was also out of tune, so no one wanted to hear him sing. Frogs are funny. He decided to go find a magical frog that could do tricks and had a magical unicorn. The magical unicorn's name was Fred Delicious, but he lost one of his contacts, and with his hooves he could not find it, and the frog tried to find it with his tongue. He found it, but the horse could not wear it because he had hooves. It is a mystery how he even got it in the first place. So they decided to go find the squid that made potions for perfect eyesight. The squid was from Jamaica but lived in Antarctica for some reason. He kept complaining about the cold, making everyone sick of him. He was bipolar, also a bit mad, and loved to sing Indian ballads. So he stayed at home most of the time, but he was bored, so he started playing Samurai Love Ballad Party, and fell in love with all the guys, including the creepy ones that were bad guys. His favorite lord of all, though, was Ieyasu Tokugawa, because he was also a bit maso. Then one day he got sucked into the game, and Kenshin tried to take him into his bed. Then Kage became jealous because he wanted Kenshin all for himself, and he went into berserker mode and cut the squid into slices with his katana. And they made calamari that night. No one said that the squid was called Bob Marley and that he had a wife and 72 children. Well, he can rest in peace. Kage was happy now to have Kenshin all for himself. Hotaru, though, wasn't happy at all. The other two men were spending all their time alone in a room making strange verses, and now Hotaru didn't have anyone with whom to spar. In his anger, Hotaru kicked Kanetsugu's butt, and when the little man turned to him angrily, the ninja blamed his cat, Tora, for the kick, and Tora growled at him for the lie. She then jumped into a tree and refused to come down to him all night. This made Hotaru spend a sleepless night, since stroking his cat was the only thing that relieved his insomnia. Tora, on the other hand, went out to see what the night might bring of fun things to do for a cat, and so she met a gigantic purple and amaranth zebra-striped dragon, and they became friends. The dragon's name was Napoleon. Tora crawled to Napoleon's back, and he flew high in the sky before landing on a small island where there only lived cats. On this island, there was a single giant tree, and tons of cat canopies with scratching posts. This island wasn't inhabited by your normal house cat, but a tribe of warrior cats who knew the secrets of Meow. The secret Meow could evoke the ancient divinity of the fire, and of the shrimps, because the cats were greedy for shrimps. They loved to eat them with barbecue sauce and whipped cream. Rather disgusting. So nobody was happy to be invited to dinner by them. The only one who liked to be invited to dinner was the giant starfish named Hugo. Hugo was Bob's best friend, because the sponge decided so, but he couldn't stand Bob at all, so Bob would set up traps around the island to capture the starfish, even if he wasn't sure what to do with Hugo. That was when the cats told Bob how to cook starfish, and Bob got a bright idea to eat his friend, and they would become one. Bob led Hugo to the highest spot on the mountain on the hottest day, far, far away from the water, so so that Hugo could enjoy the view of the water before he was about to die and be eaten by his friend. But a large warrior rabbit from the nearby island kidnapped Hugo, knowing of Bob's plans to eat him, so he hopped back and put him in the water. In the meanwhile, Bob got so sad he jumped off the mountain and died smashed. The cats saw it all, and Tora got afraid and wanted to go home. He meowed loudly, trying to get the dragon's attention, the pain in his voice. But the dragon was busy in an alcoholic competition against a Jamaican salamander named Eddie in the clandestine distillery of the Wizard of Oz. When the dragon finally had time, he was too drunk to fly. It just rolled around and laughed. He laughed so much he got the hiccups, and you can imagine that a dragon with the hiccups is quite dangerous. And set the local town on fire, because it was hidden in a forest. The people fled and ran towards the castle to ask for help. But the castle had been taken over by the evil lobster overlord named Molluscopius. Molluscopius was secretly in love with a Portuguese koala who came from Switzerland, but the koala did not return his feelings. So he became a cold lord, turning away his people, which caused him to not have anyone to rule. So he trained a colony of rats to act like people and started to rule over them. The rats were happy, now that they didn't need to eat trash. Or that's what they thought. And they were taxed just like normal people, and worse if they had kids. And kids they had, and many after all. They were rats. So they made a plan to attack the Lord. But they knew they couldn't attack the Lord alone, so they formed a plan with the cockroaches from the next town over. The roaches were very gay and wore tiny rainbow gay pride clothes. While a dog came across wanting to play with the roaches with its paws, the dog had been coming every day to play with the roaches, but the dog wanted to eat them. But the roaches had a secret weapon to use against the dog, and the dog was having such fun playing with them. The roaches were so fucking gay that they died. One roach survived, and his name was Sizo! Sizo lived the high life, running over roaches and kicking their ass. Sizo the roach let out a long sigh when he realized what a bothersome situation he was in, so he bought a jet ski. It was red, and fast enough to run away from the pesky insects that annoyed him. He called it the Roach Coach. There was a giant picture of Dongo painted on the side of the Roach Coach. Sizo was prowling the waves in his Roach Coach when he heard a crazy voice yelling, "Sizo!" that caused him to sigh. "Somebody say Sizo!" Sizo knew it was his hated enemy, for the sheer fact that he was annoying as hell. Sizo the Roach transformed into a beautiful ninja named Sizo, and he was awesome. Now beautiful ninja Sizo knew he needed a way to rid himself of the annoying insect. "Yes! Yes, I am the one! I am the lonely one! Yes, please, Lord Dante!" So he stepped on him. Lord Date, being the oddball he was, decided to keep the annoying insect as a pet before he could be stepped on. Magical hearts flew out around the roach as he looked into Lord Date's gorgeous eyes and let out a dreamy sigh, his little roach heart fluttering intensely as he looked at the strong, masculine jawline of Date Shigezane. But it caused him to have a heart attack, as his heart was never meant to feel such love, that it went too fast. Lord Shigezane was saddened by the loss of his insect, so began to travel the world for a way to bring him back. He knew of someone who could bring him back from the dead, which took him into the realm of flutterguppies, who had the power of love and could fix it. They was the Care Bears. Their leader was none other than Oboro. Lord Shigezane was willing to do anything to bring back his insect, so he went to the great Lady Oboro. Lord Shigezane told the Lady Oboro of their love and what had happened. Lady Oboro granted Shigezane his wish and brought Fuma the cockroach back to life. But he was told that if he couldn't control his love, he might kill him again. But Fuma was now a beautiful woman. Yes, very beautiful indeed, with long flowing hair and eyes as blue as the sea. Lord Shigezane was overjoyed but never expected his insect to now be a beautiful woman. Unfortunately, the insect was still obsessed with the ninja named Sizo! Lord Shigezane started courting the insect in hopes that he would forget Sizo, but she wouldn't, so Lord Shigezane started to dress like him on occasion. Fuma screamed that name every night in her sleep, and more disturbing for Shigezane, also, well, in other moments spent in bed. If Lord Shigezane had to become Sizo to be loved, he would. Fuma Kotaro began to fall in love with the kind Lord Shigezane and began to bring him dead bugs as presents. which he gladly accepted because he loved her so much. Lord Saizodate wanted to find the perfect gift for his bride, so he decided to bring her a necklace of fishing worms and a washing machine, and a stone that would transform him from Lord Shigezane into Saizo, that they found in an enchanted lake. The lake was blessed by a magical porcupine named Mark, who spent his spare time welding together old pieces of metal. Mark was pink, that he had help with gathering the metal from sharks in bikinis. He was high as a fucking kite 98% of the time. Sharks in bikinis were strangely sexy. Shigezane and Kochiro lived happily ever after. The end.